So now that we've chalked in our adjustments, we're going to trim the neck. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to match up the neckline, matching the shoulder seams together. And I am going to then take my scissors and trim this. So now I've got a better neck. And then for the arms, I also will, I've got marked on one side. Judging by the wrinkles, it looks like I need to trim down by 1/2 inch. There we go. So we've corrected our pattern. We've got to cut off the bits that are too much, and we've got a corrected pattern. Okay, so now how do we transfer this to the actual pattern? Well, it's pretty easy. Because we have no seam allowance, what we can, on the edges, what we can do is we can line up the bottom and the front corners, and then take a pen. We're going to line up here. First we're going to line up the shoulder seams. So I'm going to line up the shoulder. Now if you want to make your lives really simple, you can just open up these seams and transfer the pattern that way. I like doing things the difficult way. Oh, actually I'm too lazy to do that right now. So line up the edges, line up the raw edge, mark that. This edge we didn't trim, just this little bit right here. There we go, that's the edge we need to trim. Now for the armhole. Now because we did both the front and the back armhole, we're going to have to do the front and back armhole in here. So in this case I'm just going to match up the side seams together. And I'm going to put the front and back armhole down right along here. As you can see, there's a bit to be trimmed. There we go. So now I'll need to transfer the back neck. That's different. Just this little piece right here at the edge. Okay, and then you just take some scissors and trim off those bits. These are bits that we don't need. So now how do you transfer the front curve to the pattern? So let's look at these two sides. One side we've got a nice clear line, the other side is kind of wiggly. We want the nice clear line side. So flip the pattern over. I'll transfer this to this side. So pick the side, the front of the side of the front that has the nicest, clearest line. And that's the side that you want to trace off of. Okay, so what you want is you want a ballpoint pen or a pen, and essentially you're going to poke it through the fabric and mark onto the paper behind it. And you can test to make sure you're actually getting it. So probably can't see this on camera, but there are black marks. That's my pen poking through the fabric on the marked line and marking the paper. So continue that down the rest of the line, checking occasionally to make sure that you are actually marking the fabric underneath it. Okay. So there we have our transferred front line. Okay. So now we will just connect the dots. Okay, so there's our new front line. So the next thing to do is actually to cut this line out and then we're going to trace this onto a new sheet of paper, and we're going to add seam allowances to all the places we don't have seam allowances for. We've got our created blocks, and now it's time to actually make the actual pattern. So what we do is we lay them on a fresh piece of paper, give ourselves enough space in between the pieces, and we trace out the pattern. Now we will add seam allowances to the places that don't have it. So we do not need to add it to here or to here, so put little X marks there so you can remember, but we do need to add it to the front and to the neck and to the armhole and to the waist. And there you have it, one completed front pattern. Now be sure to label who the pattern is for, what pattern piece it is. This is the front, and the date. And the year. And then I like to put in what the seam allowance is. And there you have it. One completed pattern. You are ready to cut out an actual pattern piece.